And we continue now our conversation with Congressman Mike Gallagher. As you well know, a number of shooting incidents which gained national attention over the summertime. The debate now goes on about background checks. Again, a divisive issue. Where are you on this?
Well, first of all, I think these are terrible, terrible tragedies. And I don't think any child in Northeast Wisconsin should have to go to school in fear. And certainly parents shouldn't have that added weight on their shoulders. So I do think it's incumbent upon all of us in public office to come together and at least have an open and honest debate. One of the other reasons why we should have canceled the August recess and had that debate. When it comes to background checks, I do think we took a huge positive step forward in the last Congress when we passed the Fix NICS Act. This is actually the most significant piece of gun safety legislation that's happened in the last decade. We need to assess that, make sure it's doing what it needs to do. But there are at least 3 pieces of legislation that we could pass tomorrow that would strengthen background checks and bring them into the 21st century without compromising anyone's Second Amendment rights. For example, there's a piece of legislation I've co-sponsored called the 21st Century NICS Act, which would basically say if you go to buy a weapon and your background check is delayed, because right now you either get it, it's denied, or it's delayed, and after 3 days you automatically get approval, even if there's a red flag in the system, which seems suboptimal at best. It would allow us to access a database that we created after 9/11 called the NDEX database in order to do adequate due diligence on that person. And the DOJ Inspector General said that would have prevented the Charleston shooting. So that's an obvious no-brainer. There's something called the TAPS Act, which would allow our law enforcement officers to get access to Secret Service behavioral threat analysis management training and implement best practices in order to prevent some of this stuff. And there's other things we can do. For example, there was recently a huge study that examined every mass shooting since the 60s, and they identified 4 common traits. The first one common to most, if not all, mass shooters was they experienced some form of childhood trauma. And that's why I've been so active in working on trauma-informed care. If we can get upstream of these problems and identify problems before they devolve into major crises, then it's my hope that we can prevent it. I have a bill that would expand our resources and best practices for trauma-informed care. And so I think there's a lot of things we can do, but it seems like some tragedy like this happens, both sides immediately use it as a talking point to attack the other, and then the dust settles and nothing happens, right? And so I just would say for a lot of people out there, I do think there are some meaningful things we can do to strengthen the background check process, bring it into the 21st century without compromising, the rights of law-abiding citizens here in Northeast Wisconsin.
And we will wrap things up with Congressman Mike Gallagher right after this, so please stay with us.